Wednesday, 25th of January 2023. This is one of that Warrafak moments, and I'm going to talk about the WEF. Now, the reality is that organization over many years have infiltrated basically all the power centers. For me, the most disturbing thing is that they get these public platforms and they make statements like the world population need to be reduced by 6.5 billion people. Most recently, that guy from Pfizer said their aim is to reduce the world population by 2023 by 50%. We've got that scientific fucker that operates for them that tells you that they want to plant microchips into your brain and so that they can access your thoughts. They make statements like you will own nothing and you will be happy. All of these things they say in public, but we, the normal people, we carry on with our lives and we don't pay much attention. And then they do things and they execute their plans, and thousands and millions of people suffer. People die. People get maimed. Women lose their fertility. Pregnant mothers lose their babies. Guys, you lose their businesses. Farmers lose their land. Food production facilities gets burned down. All of these things happen, and the people just look at it and see it and just carry on with their lives. Here in South Africa, we have a situation with the DA. Yes, and I'm going to single the fucking DA out. They are very tight with the WEF. And you better wake up. Look at the ridiculousness. After Elon Musk unleashed the bird and the pestilence information started streaming into the public domain, after that, with clear indications that it was a major fuck up, that the DA in Cape embarked on a massive jab campaign again. What the fuck does that tell you? I know what it tells me. It tells me that there's one major issue here. They're pushing that agenda of reducing our population. And that's what they do. What is crazy is that in South Africa, apparently nobody has died from the shot, officially. But then I get a message from a very good friend in the Cape that is well informed and well qualified. It tells me that in Tygerberg there's a wing with 70 patients in it, all suffered from Guillain-Barré syndrome after they got bitten. Why is that not on the mainstream media pages? I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't suit the narrative. That crazy horsemouth creature in New Zealand hit the New Zealand public like a real Hitler, basically. And it was for me astonishing what she did to the New Zealand public. And you must understand, I've got a feeling about the New Zealanders for the simple reason I see them as basically the same type of people that we are here in South Africa, the whites in South Africa. And I couldn't believe that the New Zealanders took that punishment and that abuse. And the same shit happened in Australia. So we get to a position now that officially about 96% of the people in New Zealand has been bitten and 94% in Australia. And with the information that comes out now, it's quite clear that those people have got a problem, a health problem. But they carry on. And then we get this information out of the blue. Ardern resigned. Now, yes, there was immediate euphoria about it. But the fucking question you've got to ask yourself is this. This is Klaus Schwab's favorite daughter. Why the fuck is she getting out of the firing line? Why? She made a shitload of money. We all know that. It's public knowledge. But why is she getting out now? You have to ask yourself that question. Why is she getting out now? While ultimately nothing will change and the WEF still pulls the strings, I'm stoked to see how happy New Zealanders are today to hear that the horsehead piece of shit is going. The owner of my local supermarket was actually dancing in the aisles, hugging and kissing customers in joy. Look at that. Think about that. Shock as Jacinda Ardern resigns as New Zealand's Prime Minister, saying she doesn't have enough in the tank for another term, and tells her husband Clark, let's finally get married. Guys, this is bullshit. There's something going on here. Remember, this is Klaus Schwab's favorite daughter. And then there was a thread on Twitter, and it was a hell of a lot of posts, and I'm going to go through them, and you must just listen and think. The last 3 years have seen pestilence, Ukraine, and climate change take center stage in the media. We were also warned of a manufactured food and energy crisis as we headed into winter. All the above and the World Economic Forum and Agenda 2030 in common. And by the way, if you see the light changes here in the recording, we've got load shedding and it is cloudy outside, so the light intensity will change. But think about this. We were also warned of a manufactured food and energy crisis as we headed into winter. The latest big news in the media are transgenders and LGBTQ. How on earth could that have anything to do with the WEF and Agenda 2030? The answer, I'm afraid, everything. Let me explain. First came Pride Month in June 2022, according to the BBC website. Now all sounds very admirable. But is that really what the LGBTQ movement is about? The World Economic Forum has been actively promoting the LGBTQ movement since at least 2015, when they published an article called Davos and the LGBT Agenda 2015. In 2018, they published another article called What Davos Taught Me About Supporting My Transgender Child. In 2019 was when things really started to ramp up globally with the creation of the partnership, the Global LGBTQ Plus Equality PGLE. Let's briefly unpack that. All the founding members from Accenture to Scotiabank are WEF members, as is the United Nations. 2019 was also the launch of Ireland's national LGBTQ Inclusion Strategy 2019. Interestingly, though on the exact same day on June 3rd, 2020, an article appeared on the WEF site called The Great Reset, Why LGBTQ Plus Inclusion is a Secret to Cities Post-Pandemic Success. Isn't it amazing that this article is ready to go on the same date? It couldn't have been pre-planned at all, or could it? Extraordinary to think that they had all their ducks lined up in a row so early in the pandemic. The WEF are an organization of great coincidences. Why is that the secret? The answer is because LGBTQ and gender equality is central to the UN Agenda 2030. It's number 5 on the list of SDG goals. And here's a bigger thing, you can stop it, and if you want to look at all these things, what they are doing, and you must just take note of all their fucking plans. They are planning to destroy mankind. This is a global movement being driven by the WEF and the UN. So whenever you read an article about transgenders and LGBTQ, you know there is an agenda behind it. Like everything the WEF does, they dress up an agenda in a positive light whilst not revealing the real purpose. Gender inequality as being the global pandemic that affects countries. Would you really refer to gender inequality as being a pandemic? When the UN say they want to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls, what they mean is that they want to promote LGBTQ and feminist agendas whilst marginalizing families. According to the Daily Mail, Tavistock Transgender Clinic could face mass legal action from 1,000 families of children who claim they were rushed into taking life-altering puberty blockers weeks after the NHS shut it down in the wake of damning report. And this video shows precisely why men shouldn't be playing against women. It's not a sport if the two are so unequal in length, weight, mass, bone density. What it is instead is a potential car crash injury. And if you look at this, that was a block of a man tackling that transgender confused fucker woman identifying as a man, and she wants to play rugby. I watched the whole video. She was stone cold. It was as if she was eaten by a 10-ton truck. One such comment was very accurate in their appraisal of the situation. This depth of the capture of the Irish government by lobby groups pushing gender identity theory is exactly what it is. Isn't it interesting that the WEF sent out Warrafak to bat for their side? Now, that stream of things that I shared with you now is all about the LGBTQ thing. Now, listen to this carefully. Think about it. Russia has outlawed this shit. It's not acceptable in China. It's not acceptable in Iran. It's not acceptable in India. It's not acceptable in Saudi. Those countries that I've mentioned now is about 80% of the world's population. But this WEF is pushing this primarily to destroy families. They don't want families. Healthy families is a danger for the WEF because they know that they cannot manipulate families as easily as they can manipulate a gender-confused fucker. And we as a community and a society have been brainwashed to accept this mental state, this mental disturbance as natural. You cannot do that. If you take 100 people, 50 men, 50 women, dump them on an island, in 20 years' time, there will be more people on that island. Yes, there will be people that has died, but there will be babies and children there. You dump 100 of these fuckers that identify as women, and some of them that still identify as men on that island. In 20 years there will be about nothing, because they can't breed. And there's a reason why they can't breed, because nature does not tolerate this type of shit. And there's a lot of people that make a lot of noises about Russia banning this whole concept of LGBTQ completely. Russia, as a society, will survive. The West will not. I get a lot of my source information from Telegram, and I have about 100 channels that I follow there, and they are channels that are spread across the sphere. And what is interesting is the so-called non-West countries. If you see the comments about this gender shit there, the West is in deep trouble. The world, the rest of the world, see the West as a Satanist nest. Think about that. Then there is this from Sir Lancelot. Jacinda Ardern was getting high-level security briefs until a few days ago. Something made her quit. She looks like she's been hitting the speed pretty hard. But did she got spooked by the spooks? She knows something that we don't. And then the New Zealanders were rejoicing when this little fucker was appointed as her successor. And on his first interview, the next New Zealand PM says, the vaccine hesitant will be chased. And then there was this. Chris Hipkins, New Zealand's new Prime Minister, we have to go after people who have not taken the snake bite. I think early next year we're going to start going after people who did not show up for their bites and who missed it. I want every New Zealander to show up. But human behavior suggests that there will be people we will have to really go after. I can't say that we won't have all these people we won't have to go after next year. What the fuck is going on with the New Zealanders? This is a little Nazi. Listen to what he's saying. This is your leader. You guys better wake up or you're going to be fucking wiped out. That is what I can tell you here. Yes, and I am bloody angry about this. This is to me totally fucking unbelievable that right around the West, the people are just seeing this shit and they don't pay attention. These people are going to fucking wipe you out. That's what they want to do. I see this morning I saw an article, I'll handle it in a later Skidmarks, where the Indian government is now going after Pfizer in a big way. And the reality is, India doesn't have this all of a sudden dead syndrome. People don't walk around and bliksem down dead. They don't. Why? Because they didn't allow that injection there. They did not allow it. Because the Indian government said, we want the trials before you bring it in here. And Pfizer decided they're not going to distribute it in India because they didn't want to reveal their trial results. But the West took it by the mouthful. And now the problems is there. Now I'm going to stop now because this is damn ugly. All I'm saying to you, again, if your political party has got any connections to the WEF, you better be fucking wake up. They are planning to wipe you out. Look, open your eyes. Don't let them fool you with so-called good administration. Any fucking decent human being can be a good administrator if he puts his mind to it. But they use it as a weapon. They are in South Africa, we are part of BRICS, and then they go and make negative remarks about the visit of the Russian foreign minister. Why? Just like that Steenhuisen that fucked off to Ukraine and go and prance around there in the western side, taking photographs before in front of collapsed bridges and that, and made these long piss stories about Ukraine is this and Ukraine is being bullied and Ukraine is being attacked. Fuck that. It's a Zazi nest. We know it. It's a corrupt society to the bone. But the West is pampering it, feeding it, and supporting it. And pumping billions of dollars of money in there, while their own citizens are really suffering. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. These politicians is a vermin species. And until they are being tackled properly, nobody in society is safe. Please give me a like and a support and share the thing. Thank you very much.